Hey everyone, today we're diving into a powerful strategic toolkit from Edge 151, and it's all about 4 essential frameworks for business leaders. Look, if you feel like you're constantly trying to get more done with less, these mental models are, seriously, designed to give you a critical edge. Let's jump right in.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about the big challenge, that more with less dilemma we all face. Then, we'll build out our toolkit with 4 super useful curves for mapping out your ROI, effort, change, and even tech adoption. And finally, we'll pull it all together into one cohesive strategy.
All right, let's kick things off with a feeling that I'm pretty sure every single business leader knows intimately. It's that constant pressure, right? Drive growth, boost efficiency, innovate, and do it all with limited resources. It is the classic more with less challenge.
I mean, let's be honest, isn't this the dream? It's the big goal that drives pretty much all of us. But the real question is, how do you actually get there? How do you do it without burning out your team or wasting your precious cash and time?
Well, the secret isn't just about working harder, it's about thinking smarter. And that's where having the right mental models comes in. So, we're going to explore 4 powerful curves that act like a strategic toolkit, giving you a crystal clear lens to evaluate everything from investments to projects.
Okay, first tool in our kit, the ROI Curve. This one is all about mapping your path to actually making money from your investments. It helps you understand the payback period for pretty much anything, whether you're buying new software, launching a marketing campaign, or training your team.
Now here's the crucial thing to get. Returns are almost never a straight line. The ROI curve often looks more like a J or maybe an S. And what that really means is you might see an initial dip or at least a really slow start before things finally take off and that investment starts paying you back.
So, what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, think about rolling out a new CRM system. In the beginning, productivity might actually tank as your team struggles to learn the new software. That's the bottom of the J-curve. But if you understand this pattern, you can manage everyone's expectations, justify that initial pain, and stick with it, knowing that once it matures, you're going to see sales and customer satisfaction really accelerate.
All right, tool number 2 is the effort value curve. This one is all about getting the biggest bang for your buck. So while the ROI curve tells you when you might see a return, this curve helps you decide where to focus your team's energy for the best and fastest payoff.
You know, this is an absolute game changer for any small or medium-sized business with limited resources, which, let's face it, is basically all of them. It's a framework for prioritizing, so you can stop wasting time on those high-effort, low-value tasks and really focus on what's going to move the needle.
And this curve really highlights the strategic choice that leaders are constantly up against. Do you go for the quick wins, those low-effort tasks with immediate impact, like automating a few follow-up emails? Or do you put your chips on the big bets, like a full-on digital transformation that needs a ton of effort now for a huge payoff way down the road? This helps you find the right balance.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's not just one simple curve. There are at least 6 different ways effort and value can relate. For instance, you could be on an exponential decay curve, where you get these amazing quick wins at first, but then the returns start to fade. Or maybe you're on a J curve, like a major restructuring, that takes a ton of upfront work for a massive but delayed payoff. Knowing which curve you're on changes everything.
Okay, so we've got the money and the effort sorted, but what about the trickiest part of any business? The people. Our third tool, the change curve, is basically a map for navigating the human side of any big transition you're trying to make.
This U-shaped curve basically maps out the emotional roller coaster your team goes on during any significant change. It usually starts with a bit of denial, then it dips down into resistance and frustration, before hopefully coming back up through exploration and, finally, landing on acceptance and commitment.
And here's the superpower this gives you as a leader. You can see this stuff coming. If you're moving to a hybrid work model, for example, you can bet there's going to be some resistance. By using this model, you can be proactive with your communication, offer the right support, and help guide your team through that dip way faster, which protects morale and keeps things on track.
But navigating the emotions, well, that's only half the battle. Once people are mentally on board, you still need them to actually use the new tools or follow the new processes you're putting in place.
And that is the perfect lead-in to our 4th and final tool, the adoption curve. This one explains how a new idea or technology actually spreads through your organization, which is absolutely essential if you ever want to see that ROI we talked about earlier.
You've probably seen this classic bell curve before. It breaks your team down into a few key groups. You've got your innovators, the ones who are always first in line for the new shiny thing. Then come the early adopters, the majority. And finally, you've got your laggards, the ones who are, let's just say, the most skeptical of change.
So here's the big strategic move. Stop trying to convince everyone at once. It's a waste of energy. Instead, start with your innovators and early adopters. Let them be the pilot group for that new cloud accounting software. Let them work out the kinks and become your internal champions. Their success stories will create the momentum you need to get the rest of the team on board.
Okay, so we've got these 4 amazing tools. How do we actually put them together to make something powerful? It's really crucial to see them not as separate ideas, but as one integrated toolkit for making way better decisions.
Think of it like this. You use the ROI curve to figure out the timing of your investment. Use the effort value curve to focus your team's energy where it counts. Use the change curve to manage the messy human side of the transition. And use the adoption curve to make sure your new idea actually sticks. It's a complete 360-degree view.
And look, this is what it all boils down to. As the source material from Edge 151 says, mastering these curves isn't just academic. It's about gaining real clarity in your vision, having more confidence in your decisions, and building a real competitive advantage.
So as we wrap up, I want you to think about what's on your plate right now. Is it a big investment decision, a tricky change in process, a new technology you need to roll out? Which one of these curves could you pick up and use tomorrow to make a smarter decision? That's your first step toward earning more while working less.